Okay, so we're going to talk about goal setting, and this is a pretty broad area. Not everybody's going to have the same goals. Actually, everybody's goals should be a little bit different. You might want to be an Emerald coach. You might want to make $200 the first month that you're in business. You might want to just have your Shakeology paid for. Whatever the goal is, you've got to set your mind to it and believe that you can do it. None of this is going to fall into your lap. And if you're in this to make, $1,000 your first month in business, then you either have to work your tail off like crazy, or you have to be realistic about it and say, I have time to do this. And instead of setting like a huge goal to begin with, break it down into smaller goals, smaller weekly goals. And that can be a lot simpler for you to accomplish than to set like something huge. Yes, you want to have big goals, but then you want to break them down into smaller ones. That way, when you hit that goal at the end of the week or the end of the month, you can move on to the next one. Instead of just having this huge mountain looming in front of you, you have a bunch of little foothills to cross first. So if you want to, like I said before, get your Shakeology paid for, then your goal should be in your first month to sign up 3 customers on Shakeology HD, okay? Work your tail off, invite. Consistently add people to your network over and over and over again until you almost feel like you're bugging them, because that's what it's about. It's not about people coming to you. It's about you going to people. And there's a couple of different ways to do this. There's scripts everywhere, simplifying what you need to say to them. And there's approaches about the way you post things on your Facebook or on your Instagram that will have them come to you, like asking questions or kind of sideways inviting people to stuff. Ooh, got some sound issues. Hold on. Hey, it's Jen being all loud.
Is it me?
Yeah. I'm muting you, okay? All right. Yeah, you had like some like weird computer sounding alien stuff happening. Okay, so keep in mind that if you truly want to be successful in this, you have to adopt this lifestyle of I'm a coach, I'm healthy, I'm fit, I help people. Like that can't just be you acting like that on the weekends. It can't be you acting like that when you feel like it. It can't be you acting like that, when it's the end of the month, you need to get Success Club. You need to consistently have that mentality of I'm a coach, I help people. That's it. Consistency is the key in this whole thing. If you have aspirations to grow a huge business, then without a doubt, the cornerstone of all of that is making Success Club every month, no matter what. That's going to be what consistently grows your business. That's going to be what broadens your network. That's going to be what gives you referrals from people you don't even know. Making Success Club every month is got to be the foundation to build this thing as big as you want it. And it really is. I mean, you've got to do it no matter what. If you take this seriously and you want to grow like $1 million business. How do you make 214 your biggest year? Well, that depends on what makes it your biggest year for you. For me, it's becoming an elite coach, but not everybody's going to have those same goals. It might just be becoming a diamond coach for you. It might just be making $25,000 this year. It depends on what your big year criteria is. Criterion, I think it is, actually, if it's plural. But that depends on the personal need that you have out of this business. And that goes without saying, you've got to break it down into monthly goals. You can't just have this whole, yes, I want to get elite coach, and that's all you plan for. You've got to break it down into monthly goals. You got to say, I got to hit emerald here by this date. I've got to hit diamond by this date. I need to turn my diamonds into stars by these dates. And it's all about breaking it down into smaller segments. So, you're not so scared by the big goal. So I kind of want to break it down into 10 steps or 10 parts of this process. The number one and the number two thing, in my opinion, are kind of the same. But the number one thing is you have to believe. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the process. You have to believe in the products. You have to believe in your leaders. You have to believe in, yourself as a business person in order to make this work. It's not going to happen overnight, and nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody's going to do it for you. You've got to believe in yourself and believe in what this is and believe in Beachbody as a, successful company. The number two thing, or number one, they're interchangeable, is consistency. We as coaches, we go through hard times. The money can be inconsistent. It can drop from having an awesome week and making a $600-700 paycheck to the next week making, $95. And it's hard to budget your income and budget your funds when the money is inconsistent. It's completely different from clocking in and out of a 9-to-5 job where you're expected to make the same amount of money each week or every 2 weeks whenever you get paid. It's kind of like my previous experience in my past life as a bartender. You walk in there expecting to make $400 and you leave with 65, and it's hard to get your bills paid and put food on the table when the money's inconsistent like that. So, by you being consistent, you have a less chance of your income being inconsistent, if that makes sense. If you're consistently doing the same thing week after week after week after week, then your income is not going to vary from one extreme to the other as much. Still going to vary because you're not going to, ever get paid the same amount each week. But if you consistently do the same thing week in and week out, then your income will kind of flatline instead of spike up and down and up and down and up and down. Okay, the number three is treat your business like a business. We're not 24/7 Walmart superstores. I have a big problem with this because most of you know that Beachbody is my only job. And so I am constantly available almost 24/7, except for when I'm asleep. And I always automatically answer people's questions immediately. And it doesn't matter if they're on my team or if it's Stephanie or Lindsay or whoever. Like, if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. Or somebody posts something in a challenge group, I'm going to respond. Like Jeremy's joked around and said before, every notification on my phone is from Jen Helton. And yeah, it's totally true because I'm always available. And I've tried to say, okay, my daughter gets out of school at 11:30 and my son doesn't get out of school until 3:30. So I want to make that time at least that I have just her as, non-business hours. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't because, if you have a hot lead or somebody's like in dire straits on needing information right now, like, whoa. What the hell? Sounds like somebody's hacking in here. You got Martians. Okay. Yeah, so you kind of want to set business hours for yourself and treat this like a business. And in a regular job, what happens when you don't show up to work? You lose your job, right? What happens when you do a crappy job constantly? You're replaced by somebody else. That means somebody else is going to get those people that you could have helped that are in your network already. Some other coach that is on their A game is going to grab them before you do. And you're going to be like, oh my God, they signed up with somebody else. Oh my God, they signed up with somebody else. We hear that so much. Oh my God, they signed up with somebody else. That happened to me a couple of times when I first started, but it doesn't happen now. I don't let them sign up with anybody else because I'm on my A game. It doesn't matter if I'm hungover or just lazy or whatever it is. Like, I'm talking to people. I am talking to people because this is my business. It's my job. It's my income. It's how I am able to stay home with my kids. All right, number 4. You got to learn to share your story. I know people have a hard time with this because they don't want to be like blowing up people's news feeds, or they don't want to seem like they're bragging, or they're embarrassed to post their before pictures, or they're embarrassed to talk about, what kind of bad place they were in when they first started this, or maybe they haven't really been inspired or touched by Beachbody yet, which is, fine. But most everybody on my team and Stephanie's team and our team, we have a reason of why we stick this out and why we keep doing this. The only 2 coaches I've ever lost in my whole team have both come back because they've seen the impact that Beachbody's had on me, and they are now impacted by Beachbody themselves. And as your leaders encourage you to share your story, not because it makes us feel good, which it does, but it's because that's the single most largest, which is the worst sentence ever, but it's the biggest response you're going to get from Facebook posts and Instagram posts. The biggest response you're going to get is being real and being raw and being emotional and relatable and telling your story. Because even though, you put yourself out there and you're kind of embarrassed about the whole thing, people admire that kind of storytelling from you. It doesn't matter what it's about. It really doesn't. People admire you for putting yourself out there. Like, I don't have like some crazy inspirational story, but anytime I go and blah, blah, blah on Facebook about whatever, people love it and I get a huge response. And it doesn't have to be like, I lost 50 pounds and now my life has changed and because we see enough of those already from the challenge winners. If it's just like, 3 months ago, I used to roll out of bed and into a McDonald's wrapper and think, what did I just do last night? Or, whatever. And now I would never even consider eating McDonald's in bed. It could be something that simple. And guarantee you somebody out there can relate to that, binge eating McDonald's in bed. Guarantee you there's somebody out there that can relate to whatever your story is. So we encourage you to share your story because, that's part of attaining your goals is to make yourself relatable. Okay. Number 5, be your own best coach and customer. I cannot stress the importance of this enough. You've got to be a product of the product. You've got to be doing those workouts when you don't want to. You've got to be drinking that Shakeology when you don't want to, or else you're going to have a surplus of Shakeology bags building up in your house. Whenever I see these coaches saying, I've got 3 bags of vanilla, I'm like, you're drinking your Shakeology every day, are you? Because I sure don't have extra full bags laying around. I run out of chocolate once a month and I freak out. So you've got to be drinking your Shakio and you've got to be doing your workout. And that's why we post so many obnoxious, like sweaty selfies is for accountability. That's part of the goals too, is accountability. If you're not showing these challengers and these potential customers and potential coaches that you're putting in the work too, then why would they want to join you on this journey if they don't see you putting in the work? I mean, you can share memes and funny stuff on your page all day long about fitness motivation, but if they don't see you putting in the work and they don't see you getting the results, then why would they sign up with you? Why wouldn't they sign up with somebody else that's actually putting the obnoxious sweaty selfies on there, okay? Number 6, don't wait for the motivation. You got to make your own motivation. We don't jump out of bed every morning, ready to work out at 6 a.m. when it's snowing in Iowa. I used to live there. I feel the pain, okay? I don't even have bad weather anymore, and I still don't jump out of bed ready to work out at 6 o'clock in the morning. I get up that early. I drink some E&E. I still don't work out for like 2 hours. You've got to find the motivation. You can't let the motivation come to you. You've got to create it. You've got to create the motivation, and where you find the motivation and where you create the motivation is in your challenge groups, is in your Facebook posts, it's in your network of people, it's in your random questions that you ask to your Facebook family or your Instagram family. A simple question could be, what motivates you? It doesn't have to be anything about fitness. It doesn't have to have a topic or a subject, just a simple question. I think I'm gonna put that out there actually probably tomorrow night. What motivates you? See what kind of crazy answers people come up with. If you ever seen one of my questions on my Facebook page, I have some certifiable Looney Tunes in my friends list, but you know what? That keeps everybody involved and that keeps the network in check. And it's the random people that are watching that come to me that want to be a part of this crazy train, versus somebody else because they know I'm fun and they know I keep things going and keep things light and don't ever take myself too seriously. I mean, that's a big goal. You can't take yourself too seriously in this. You want to treat it like a business. You want to make money, but if it's not fun, then why would you do it? Why would you continue to want to do this if it's not fun? Did I do number 6? Yeah. So number 7 is your why, okay? Your purpose. All of this talk about goal setting and figuring out where you want to be 6 months to a year from now. It all trickles down to your why. Why do you do this? Why on earth do you want to be in direct marketing for fitness? I mean, not everybody can do this. This is not for everybody. Anybody can become a coach, but it's not for everybody. That is for sure. My purpose, my why, I wanted to build a business so I could stay home with my kids for the first time ever. My babies have been going to daycare or been in somebody else's care since they were born. And they're 9 and almost 9 and 6 now. So I wanted to say, okay, I want to do this to where I can stay home with them. And that's not going to be the same why as everybody else, but you got to figure out the reason why you do this and build your goals around that in order to achieve whatever your reason is for wanting to do this. And when you're having a crappy week or a crappy month, or you're just striking out left and right, you have to go back to your purpose and your why and kind of soak it up again like a sponge. I have it like written down, a dream board of pictures and quotes and stuff like right above my desk that I look at every single day whenever somebody tells me no, or whenever my post gets 0 likes or 93 views or something like that. And I just remember to keep on keeping on, because that's the whole reason why we do this. Whatever that reason is, you've got to remember it and sometimes revisit it and come back to it. Okay. Number 8, you have to have like success in your daily activities. If that means you need to make a list every day of shit you got to do every day and cross it off every day, then by all means do that. I am a list person now in my old age, and never have been before, but now I can't remember everything anymore. So I've got to like write it down on a piece of paper and check it off. Like make post about upcoming challenge group, talk to coach so-and-so about whatever, check back with challenger blah 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 about their gastric bypass question for their great aunt, whatever. I have to write it all down and make sure that list gets checked off by the end of the day. It could be 5 things or it could be 20, but I know that if I don't check everything off that list, then I failed that day. And you've got to be successful in your daily activities to be successful in this whole thing as a business. If you want to hit those goals every week or hit those goals every month, you need to make sure you're getting all your stuff done on your list. If you don't need to keep a list, you can keep everything in your brain. That's fine, rock on. I used to be able to do that, but I don't know, not anymore. There's just too much holes in the old brain these days. But okay, number 9, you gotta care. You really have to care about yourself, for one, your customers, your team, your coaches that you sign up, their coaches that they sign up. You have to care about your spouse and the respect that you have for them for allowing you to do this and take time out of your time with them or time out of your family to do this. You've got to care and be passionate about this business, or it's just going to fizzle out. And you're going to say, why am I spending $90 a month on this protein stuff when I'm still miserable? And that's like the complete opposite mindset you should have. You should be thinking, this is $90. This is nothing to pay for this amazing product. And I've gotten so many friends to join me that I don't even notice that it's coming out of my bank account every month because there's so much money that's going in there. Like that's the kind of attitude you should have, not why am I wasting my time doing this and coming to dead ends. You've got to care about the people. You've got to care about the customers. You've got to care about the people that may not ever buy anything from you, because that brings me to number 10. You got to help them, and no matter what, in some way, shape, or form, by you helping them, they're going to eventually come around and get something from you, or they're going to refer you more people that you might not know. That happens to me quite often. I get referrals from people that have either been in a challenge group or that have never bought anything from me before and probably never will, but they'll say, oh, so-and-so told me to come to your page and I liked it and I like what you do. You're so motivating. Da, 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 da. I've been following you forever. Tell me about this new challenge that you just posted. Okay, great. And then, they might not want anything, but they want to know how to get abs I don't know why people ask me about abs. Of all people, they should probably be finding somebody with abs to ask about it. But I will still like give any advice I know, you know. I'll give any tips I know. I'll give any eating things I found. I will give any extra diet and exercise moves that I know, and I will help them because they might not be, you know, diving right in to buy Shakeology right now. But you know, maybe in a couple of months they'll be ready, because whatever I told them is probably not going to work. And they're going to want to get in to Turbo Fire and I always tell people you need a high intensity interval training workout in order to get abs, and you need to eat right. And that's period. You know, Jeremy's rolling his eyes, but then I'll be like, Turbo Fire's on sale. Yeah. So help people no matter what. That's number 10. And that's pretty much all I got. So if you need to chime in and ask me anything, or maybe like Stephanie wants to add more about goal setting, then go ahead, unmute yourselves and ask away. Stop drinking beer. Anybody? Steph, what you got?
I gotta unmute. Right? Or am I muted?
No, you're unmuted. I unmuted you.
I was like, I've been unmuted the whole time. Well, I'm gonna post that diamond checklist, which talks about like specifically diamond goals, because I know that most people are trying to go for a rank because that means they get paid more.
Yeah.
So that'll just kind of piggyback off of everything you've talked about.
Cool.
And I'm gonna post that tonight, right after this thing.
And again, if you need help, if you need guidance, you know, you've got a whole team. Like, how many are on the Fit Legacy now? Like close to 200?
150.
150? I mean,
150.
Don't be afraid to ask people outside of your direct network, you know? Don't be afraid to just ask somebody that you don't even know. Say, hey, what was your opinion on this? Like, before we all were really close-knit, like, I don't know if Sandy's on here or not, but like her and I've been bouncing ideas off each other for months now. You know what I mean? And I'm more than happy to share ideas and stuff with her because, you know, we're all in this together. With that being said, don't expect to ride somebody else's wave this whole time. It's great that we do like these big challenges, and I'm constantly trying to get the team involved in stuff, but like, you know, you got to keep in mind, like, what if we weren't here? There's plenty of successful coaches in Beachbody that had no upline sponsor, or that had a crappy upline sponsor and just completely built $6 million business by themselves. Like Lindsay Matway's a perfect example. She didn't even have an upline, and she's, you know, 3 years and a millionaire or something like that.
And Chelsea Pearson, who you see all over the place, her husband has to, who's her coach, like her husband is her coach, like Jeremy's my coach. Her husband has to like do her recognitions because she doesn't have anybody to do it for her. So
yeah,
you could have it worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could definitely have it worse. We've got a really strong team. I mean, with the Fit Legacy and the Diamond Council, and then being under Christina's team, like, we've got every resource in the world. Like, nobody should be blinded or snowballed by anything. Oh, that's another thing I want to mention really quick. We got to take responsibility for stuff. If you're signing up for something, read the fine print. You know, don't be like, oh, so now they're going to charge me $15 a month to be a coach. Well, yes, because, you know, when you signed up to be a coach, I'm pretty sure it mentioned that somewhere, right? You know?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but I don't remember.
But we talk about it in the webinar too. Yeah.
It doesn't?
No, it does. We do talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's gone to a what is coaching presentation, unless they just signed up blindly like me. But Stephanie, my upline sponsor, you know, explained it to me. It's going to be $15 a month and $40-something when you're, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, but, you know, you gotta, this is your business. You've got to accept responsibility for it. You've got to be able to look for your own answers and find your own motivation. So yeah, instead of just, you know, giving bad information, look for it first. I think that's all I got. I'm going to stop the recording now. Okay.